Next on Up North Live News at 6. What a special committee is recommending on how to spend $18 million in American relief dollars in Grand Traverse County. A parent is charged with making a bomb threat in Sheboygan schools, what investigators say was the motive. We look ahead to a big snowmobile festival in February, what's being planned. And the unexpected happened at this CMU graduation. Something more than a diploma was handed out.
This is Up North Live News at 6 on 7 and 4.
How to spend $18 million of American relief money. That was the task of a special board of Grand Traverse County Commissioners. Today, they made recommendations on how to spend a portion of that money. Up North Live's Ireland Viscount tells us what they decided and why.
Grand Traverse County received 108 ARPA funds applications from businesses and organizations in the county. The requested money added up to just shy of $79 million, a lot more than the county has to spend.
I want to give $18 million to everybody who showed up on this list because I understand the weight of the human suffering that was caused by the past several years. It's never going to be enough. And it's heartbreaking.
On Monday, these commissioners decided to spend just a little more than 10 of the $18 million, recommending that $5 million be saved for incoming commissioners to decide on how to spend. The other $5 million was recommended to be put aside for mental health infrastructure in the future.
I am asking you, as a citizen and as a parent who lost a son to suicide, if we can please understand that the United Way is probably the best partner that we can have to build critical mental health crisis beds.
United Way is a sponsor partner of Grand Traverse Center for Mental Wellness, who wants to build a mental health crisis center. But some commissioners want to know more about the plan and project.
One thing that stood out to me is it's a $10 million project, but there was nothing allocated for staffing, for example.
6 of the 7 commissioners also voted to give nearly $109,000 to the organization Generations Ahead for increased outreach and expansion of mental health services, and $325,000 to Michael's Place, which serves grieving children, teens, adults, and families.
I don't know how me and my son Wyatt would have made it through without Michael's Place.
The Commissioners Committee are also recommending another community needs survey because of flaws in the first one. The recommendations from today will be voted on by the full commission on Wednesday. In Traverse City, Ireland Viscount, Up North Live News.
The housing shortage is one of the most pressing issues communities in northern Michigan are challenged to solve. Up North Live's Maya Engel joins us live now in Gaylord with more on what Otsego County is doing to address that need. Maya.
Amanda, before Otsego County can work on solving the housing shortage crisis, they need to first identify exactly what the needs are of those in their communities. Now, the Otsego County Economic Alliance hired a consultant to develop a comprehensive housing needs assessment. The study involves things like the evaluation of specific demographic data and the current housing inventory. Tonight, the community will hear the results from the housing assessment, as well as what the next steps are to try and solve the housing crisis in Otsego County. Now, the results are going to be shared tonight inside the auditorium at Gaylord High School from 7 o'clock until 9 o'clock, and I'll be there and we'll have more details for you on exactly what those results are tonight at 11. For now, reporting live in Gaylord, Maya Engel, Up North Live News.
35 communities across our state, including some in northern Michigan, are receiving Main Street grants from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. Charlevoix, Sheboygan, and Sault Ste. Marie are all receiving around $25,000.
We have not only businesses that are wanting to come in to start up, but that just need a little refresh and to ensure that their doors aren't going to close. So I think that this money right here is going to be instrumental for businesses in making and being confident that they're going to stay in business, that they have that little extra cushion to proceed forward with their business and in the services that they want to provide.
Main Street selected 3 businesses from each of the cities here in northern Michigan. A Sheboygan County man charged with threatening to bomb Sheboygan Middle School last week went before a judge today. Corey Oman was arraigned via Zoom on charges of felony false report of terrorism, felony using a computer to commit a crime, and a habitual offender charge. Both of the felony crimes carry up to 20 years in prison. This was the 6th threat made against Sheboygan schools in the past few years.
Mr. Ullman allegedly went on Facebook and presented a threat to the schools because he was upset with the decision that was made at the schools involving one of his children. And unfortunately, he made a threat to our schools, and we were able to locate him, and we are going to hold him accountable to the greatest extent of the law.
Ullman is set to return to Sheboygan District Court on January 13th for a preliminary exam. A 32-year-old Buckley man was charged today with failure to stop and identify in a fatal crash in Grand Traverse County last week. Larry Bunk was with his lawyer during a video arraignment this afternoon in 86th District Court. Deputies say Bunk was behind the wheel when he hit another vehicle at the Interlocking Corners intersection last Thursday. 31-year-old Daniel Kelsey was killed in the crash. Bunk was arrested on Friday. He is free on bond, but the judge ordered that Bunk undergo continuous alcohol monitoring as a condition of his release. An Upper Peninsula woman is dead after a crash in Luce County Sunday morning. It happened on M28 near County Road 444 in Lakefield Township. State troopers say a driver crossed the center line and hit an oncoming minivan. The minivan's driver was pronounced dead at the scene. Troopers think alcohol played a factor in the crash. The investigation is still ongoing. A Cadillac man is under arrest after being accused of giving vaping and THC products to a minor. State police say Thomas Baker used Snapchat to talk to an underage girl and sell the products. The girl's parents say they saw the conversations on their daughter's phone and contacted authorities. Baker is now facing several charges, including delivering a controlled substance to a minor, furnishing tobacco to a minor, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. A Wexford County woman is under arrest after state troopers say she forged signatures on checks. MSP says Jean Kavanaugh received 3 refund checks from State Farm that were sent to her address by mistake. Troopers say Kavanaugh forged signatures on the checks and cashed them for $1,200. Michigan lawmakers will have less access to state prisons starting at the end of this month. Our political reporter Rachel Louise Just explains why some lawmakers say this will make it harder to hold correctional facilities accountable.
The Michigan Department of Corrections has changed an internal policy that allowed lawmakers to enter its facilities without any warning. Now those lawmakers will have to give an advance notice of 72 hours, and they'll have to receive permission from wardens.
We have no issues with accountability or transparency or anything like that. Again, it's really just a safety issue and a scheduling issue.
The Michigan Department of Corrections says the change is in line with what's already been the standard at state prisons, saying that lawmakers already give a heads up when they visit, and the previous policy of unannounced visits wasn't held to.
That's not how, like I said, any lawmakers that I can remember just showing up somewhere and wanting to go in.
Senator Ed McBroom, as current chair of the Senate Oversight Committee, says this policy change will be detrimental for lawmakers and oversight is critical.
Prisons have a long history in any state you go into of being a institution that's very prone to abuse, prone to disregarding people's civil rights, and the state as an employer can be not a good partner either.
McBroom has 5 prisons in his Upper Peninsula district alone. He says the immediate access is key.
It's really no different than parents who go out and leave the children with some work to do. If you never have the option of coming home early, you can never be sure that the kids are going to actually get done in a timely fashion what they were assigned to do.
MDOC spokesperson Chris Gouts notes that some state prisons are notably understaffed right now.
These visits can be sometimes very lengthy. When we're already very short-staffed, that can be very time-intensive, or if the warden or their staff have a series of meetings or we're scheduled to be out of town.
Michigan has 26 prisons run by MDOC, plus the Detroit Detention Center. In Lansing, Rachel Louise Just.
An update to a story we told you about last week. Brian and Sharon Lang held a fundraiser for Sheboygan Compassion Ministries at their home Sunday. The pair raised a little more than $13,000 of their $15,000 goal. The event streamed on the Lang's Facebook page, included musical performances, carolers, and community interviews. 150 bikes are heading to kids in need this holiday season in northern Michigan. It's thanks to Piper Schumar and volunteers. On Saturday, her team assembled and donated the bikes. They will be distributed through Toys for Tots. 12-year-old Piper collects bottles and cans and cashes them in for money to buy bikes for kids at Christmas. Since she began 4 years ago, she has donated around 800 bikes to Toys for Tots. A Central Michigan University grad got his diploma and a fiance this weekend. Look at this video from CMU. That's David Shoemaker proposing to his girlfriend Ryan Swan as he received his master's degree. David and Ryan met at CMU as undergrads in 2019, and this past weekend David completed his graduate program. During the commencement ceremony, his whole family, including Ryan, called onto the stage where David got down on one knee and asked Ryan to marry him. She said yes, so congratulations to the happy couple. Snowmobilers across northern Michigan are looking ahead to sled season. Coming up, we preview the Michigan Snowmobile Festival and what the conditions might look like for those of you hoping to hit the trails.
And a little snow rolling in tonight into tomorrow morning. I'll look at how much and the latest on a possible storm for late week. All that after the break.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
People across northern Michigan are eager to ride snowmobiles. That's as soon as we get enough snow. Today, we're looking ahead to the Michigan Snowmobile Festival. It's happening in Gaylord this February. Heather Bricka has a preview.
The Michigan Snowmobile Festival is back in Gaylord after 3 years of canceled events. Organizers are saying they're hopeful that moving the event up earlier in the month of February will help out with conditions, because these are what the current conditions look like right now on one of the snowmobile trails here in Gaylord. These trails may look bare for December, but in a couple of months, it should look more like this.
So last year was a little bit of an anomaly. We typically have pretty good snowfall through the month of February, but last year we really only saw considerable snowfall throughout the UP. And so it does make sense for that conference to be moved up earlier into February to ensure that we do have good quality snowfall.
We've been keeping it at the end of February, and we noticed snowfall seemed to be a little bit low then. We bumped it up. It's going to be February 3rd and 4th this year, so it'll be a little bit earlier in the winter. We're hoping that's really going to hit that peak snowfall time.
Gaylord's total snowfall for the season is 42.1 inches, which is just slightly over the average at 41 inches. Even though it's just at average, the periods with above freezing temperatures have significantly melted the snowpack.
We generally start grooming trails around 12 inches. 8 to 12 inches is a good snowpack that we're generally looking at to start grooming.
For the Snowmobile Festival to happen, there needs to be plenty of snowfall. But even if you aren't a regular snowmobile rider, this event is for everyone.
You don't have to be a hardcore snowmobiler to enjoy this event. We've had people come out that have never been on the trails before. We do offer a guided ride right from the Tourism Bureau, so you can ride along. And this is a go at your own pace event.
With 10 different stops along the way, the fun run doesn't just stop at the trails.
The premise is that you ride to all of these different locations and you drop a slip of paper at each one. And then we all meet at the Eagles Hall and we have food and live music. And it's just a big, fun event. And then we draw names for prizes and then our $1,000 cash prize.
Event organizers are suggesting to put in your reservations now for those snowmobiles well before the festival. In Otsego County, Heather Bricka, Up North Live News.
Registration is now open for the festival, and it's free to register.
Most of northern Michigan has a little coating of snow on the ground after some over the weekend. We're going to get a little more tonight. And of course, all talk, if you follow social media, a lot of that on a storm late week. We're going to get into that here too. Let's time out things. First off, tomorrow, a little bit of snow in the morning. That's going to end. The afternoon looks okay. Could be a little slick in the morning. Wednesday is the quiet day this week. That's the day to get things done if you can, if you have a choice. Maybe head to the grocery store, things like that. Quiet, mostly cloudy, and it stays dry Wednesday into the afternoon, although the clouds hang around. Thursday, snow starts to arrive in the afternoon and evening. And then the bad weather gets in here Friday into Saturday. Of course, Saturday is Christmas Eve. A little bit of a mix of rain and snow turning to heavy snow and wind Friday. And then Saturday, heavy snow and wind also on Christmas Eve. In the short term, we have a little weak area of low pressure. This sits out over Iowa tonight. This will track in this general direction, but what that's going to do is take some snow into northern Michigan later tonight. So once we get past midnight, chance for some snow. There it is through the morning tomorrow. This is not a big snow producer for us, but it'll be a little messy, a little sloppy on some of the roads tomorrow morning. This moves through quick, and then by the afternoon, most of that will come to an end. Chance for a little lake effect snow up here on Whitefish Point off Lake Superior. And then Wednesday, there's our dry day, Wednesday afternoon and evening. So in the short term, the snow tonight and tomorrow morning, an inch or two, right in through here, perhaps a little bit more over the UP there on Beaver Island. That's tonight through tomorrow. Now I want to get into late week. I'm just going to say this now. This is not going to be a regular run-of-the-mill winter storm for northern Michigan. This could be a historic storm for around the Christmas time frame for us. This is the GFS, some call it the American Weather Model. Again, simulates what could happen. It's honing in on snow rolling in here Thursday evening, a little rain perhaps initially, and then very strong winds. We're talking blizzard conditions Thursday night into Friday if this track holds true, with whiteout conditions and perhaps roads closed, just a no-go on travel and power outages right through Christmas Eve. And then snow continues into Christmas Day but starts to wind down. Here's the European weather model. Also shows what may happen. We look and compare these often. This also has some little more rain mixing in Friday with the low down over southern Michigan. But that moves away, and then the heavy snow kicks in Friday evening with, again, your blizzard conditions. That's Friday night into Saturday. This is going to be a big storm. It's going to impact parts of the area. The finite details as to how much snow exactly, the strongest wind time frame, that's still to be determined. But we're here to give you a heads up. Travel, not good. And I would tell you, I know a lot of folks are traveling. If you have travels Friday or Saturday, not just here, but around northern Michigan, you're going to want to contemplate changing them because this is going to be a very high impact system. Tonight, we're looking at some snow rolling in after midnight, teens and 20s, light snow late again in the next few hours, still dry. It'll be later tonight when that snow gets in here. Cadillac 18, a little there. Tomorrow morning snow ending, upper teens, low 20s. Few 30s possible. Again, snow in the morning starts to taper off as we get into the afternoon and evening, maybe even a peak of sun later in the day. And we put weather warn days already on for Friday and Saturday. Potential for near blizzard, if not blizzard conditions. With that storm rolling in, some snow will carry over right into Christmas Day next Sunday.
Well, you're going to want to be up to date on all of the weather happening across northern Michigan, and to do that, you can download our Up North Live mobile app. It is free and comes with a live look at the radar. Just search for Up North Live in your app store to download it.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Have you ever seen a snowflake up close? Ethan Beckler from One-on-One Images shared this microphoto taken in Quincy, Illinois. It shows the amazing complexity of a single snowflake. And remember, no two snowflakes are alike. And as much of the nation's midsection prepares for the arrival of bitter cold, here's a pretty sunset from Beaumont, Texas. On Thursday, low temperatures there could get into the teens.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
Next in sports, the Lions find a way to win again. See how close this actually has Detroit to making a return trip to the playoffs. Plus, Ferris State celebrates another dominant playoff capper in the national championship game over the weekend.
Ebel's General Store.
Well, stop me if it's starting to sound a little repetitive, but the Lions won again on Sunday, making it wins in 6 of their last 7 games, and all of a sudden making the playoffs sound like a very realistic possibility here. The Lions' latest victim was the New York Jets. Gave up a go-ahead touchdown with under 2 minutes to go. That gave the Lions a 20-17 win on the road, giving them a great path at a playoff spot come January, although they're not there just yet.
To be very disciplined in those moments. You know, that's what the winning teams do. That's what players that can produce in high stress situations do. And we were able to do that, even though there was bits and pieces of that game that weren't, up to our standards, man. When we needed it, we made those plays.
So here's how things look entering the final 3 weeks of the NFL season. The Lions still trail Washington and technically Seattle in the standings. The Seahawks have the tiebreaker with the win when the two teams met up back in the beginning of the year. The key for the Lions will be the winning one more game than these two teams here in the final 3 weeks, and they'll have a great chance to take a leg up on that with this next week being the only favorite of the 3 in their Week 16 matchup as the Lions face Carolina. Ferris State has done it again. The Bulldogs led wire to wire in their meeting with Colorado School of Mines to win their second straight national championship on Saturday, 41-14 down in McKinney, Texas. Carson Golker led things on the ground, 3 touchdowns. Quarterback Malik Mitchell was stellar under center, 14 for 18, 170 yards through the air, as Ferris showed off in a dominant performance to win back-to-back Division II college football crowns.
We just fought hard, and I just think, you know, it makes me emotional to think about, but our guys are so gritty, and, you know, we just fight so hard that, you know, we were able to win the 5 playoff games, just being tough and gritty.
The Traverse City Pit Spitters have released their 2023 schedule today. Good timing. Want us to start thinking about summer here right before the holidays. They'll start things off on Memorial Day with a home game against the Rockford Rivets at Turtle Creek Stadium. All right, that is going to do it for sports. We'll be right back.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Downtown Salon and Spa. Experience the difference.
16 to 26. Lots of clouds around later tonight. Some light snow rolls in. Still a few slick spots on the roads. Love this. We're not going to see a whole lot of sun this week, but here's a nice picture. Nancy Schmidt took that. That was sunset in the sky there over Petoskey.
Ooh, really love seeing that. Nancy, thank you so much for sending that in. And thanks for joining us in Up North Live at News at 6. NBC Nightly News is next, but more local news on ABC 29 and 8 in just a few moments. We'll see you there.